He's the hulking behemoth who has so often carried the North Queensland Cowboys on his back. But should Matt Scott be thrown back into the cauldron of a grand final, having not played a game in the NRL since round 2 of the regular season, when he suffered a sickening anterior crucial ligament ACL injury in a 21-20 win over rivals Brisbane? Since then, the Cowboys have fought as valiantly and as bravely as any team in the competition, sneaking into the top 8 right at the last minute, when the St. George Illawarra Dragons shockingly failed to beat the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs on the last day of the regular season. And while they have been written off at every turn, they have kept turning up, and have won their way to a grand final date with the Melbourne Storm. A win over the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks in Week 1 of the final series came as some surprise, while a boil-over against the heavily fancied Parramatta Eels at N Stadium, in front of over 41,000 people, gave a little more credence to the cause. But a last-start win over the Sydney Roosters not only earned the Cowboys a grand final berth, it has earned them the respect and admiration of the league as a whole. Added to their injury woes alongside losing Scott was the loss of Jonathan Thurston, arguably the best player in the game for half the campaign as well. And while Thurston won't be in a position to answer Enso's call from Green, Matt Scott could force his way back into contention for the 17-man grand final team. The case for picking Scott: at the end of the day, grand finals are won by the best players in the league, and, at his best, Matt Scott is one of the very best prop forwards in the game today. If Paul Green has the experience and ability of someone like Matt Scott to call on for the big day, then he really doesn't have a choice, does he? He has to pick the best players available to him and back them to get the job done against the Morphin-Seed Storm at N Stadium in front of 80,000 screaming fans. If he's genuinely fit enough to be selected for the Cowboys, you have to think that Paul Green will opt to draft in his star prop for the added firepower and workload over any potential disruption to the side that has gotten them this far. A veteran of 233 NRL games, all with the Cowboys, 22 caps for Queensland during the Maroons' most successful period, and 22 test matches for Australia, Matt Scott is the sort of forward that has carved out a career based on winning football games, and his big-game experience would be an invaluable addition to the Cowboys' forward pack as they look to counter the Rollin of Melbourne's Jesse Bromwich, Dale Finucane and Jordan McLean. You can suggest changing a winning team would be unfair on the players that got the Cowboys to the big dance, but at the end of the day, it's all about winning the grand final. And with Matt Scott fit enough to take the field, there's every chance the Cowboys have one more big upset up their sleeve. The case for not picking Scott: rugby league is a funny game, and sometimes the best thing a team can have is a winning feeling and a bit of continuity in the setup in the playing squad. The Cowboys have lurched their way through an injury-ridden season and then managed to play some of their best, toughest footy at the crunch times, winning through to the grand final, and Paul Green would be crazy to jettison one of the players who has been part of the team through this final series to bring in a bloke who, while one of the better props in the game, may not even be fit enough to go toe-to-toe with the monstrous Storm forward pack. Melbourne Storm legend Robbie Kearns said as much when he spoke with ABC Radio, saying, "I don't think it would be the right thing to do. The current playing group have done a fantastic job to get the team where they are, which is a grand final this coming Sunday. I think it would be an injustice to the guys who did the job to get them there," he continued. Darren Lockyer and Andrew Johns, two of the better players to have ever played the game, echoed Kearns' thoughts and feel picking Scott would be a mistake. It could well be that Paul Green falls in the same camp. The Cowboys mentor threw Scott onto the reserves list this week ahead of their clash with the Roosters, and it did the job of causing some confusion in the build-up to the game. But whether he could actually pull the trigger and select Scott remains to be seen. Would you like to see Matt Scott play in the 2017 NRL Grand Final? Let us know in the comments and poll below. Want to share your opinion? Why not write for us? Previous post, previous, next post, next.